Yaara Gooner is an architect who in 2020 was listed in Israel's Forbes 30 under 30. So every year, Forbes identifies 30 of the brightest and the most promising game changers under the age of 30 across 20 different industries. Yara is considered something of a superstar. Her mission is to help people to thrive through optimising space for people to sleep, to work and to play. Central to her design mission is their wellness. And she's currently applying her skills at Lab and Stay, a flexible co-working space and service apartments with the luxuries of a boutique hotel. Let's hear more about shared workspaces and their evolution since the recent pandemic. Welcome to the Designerati podcast studio, Icebreaker Time, which means I invite you to share some information about you. Or show me an object that some people listening to this might not necessarily associate with you.
Okay.
So something about you. Oliver Heath, the biophilia architect, he used to be a fire eater.
Something that people don't know about.
Yeah, a secret.
I was a ballerina
What?
in the past. And actually that was my dream. And then I came to the design world.
What level of ballerina were you?
I studied from ballet from when I remember myself. I even done a degree in dancing. And until the army, because in Israel you're going to the army, I've been like a professional dancer.
Unbelievable.
And then I did a shift.
You certainly did. You certainly did. What was the shift from being a ballerina to going in the Israel army?
Interesting. It's a very shift. So I have a blend between a very artistic soul to a very realistic and number kind of orientation. So I learned from where I was a child, I really like math and numbers, and I did a degree in physics, but in the same time I did a ballet as well. So when I came to the army, I did more about, let's say, push my boundaries in physics wars and math and statistics, and left on the side the ballet.
So you're creative, you're interested in maths, and then how did that translate into architecture, into a career in interiors?
I think in order to be a good designer and architect, you need both of the world, because it's
the science, the maths and the creative.
I'm saying realism had the realistic down to earth and understand, let's say, quantities and cost in the end of the day. Because not a good, you can't live in a project, you can't do anything without understanding how much it will cost, how much revenue it will take. So you need this kind of side of more the business orientation. But in the same time, you need to be very creative and very visionary and to like aesthetics. So I think it's actually combined both of the world.
So you were born in Tel Aviv?
Yes, correct. Actually in a city next to Tel Aviv, very close by.
How was that growing up?
Lovely, very simple.
Culturally, how different is that from the UK?
Wow. It's different, I think. And it's fascinating how much it's different, actually, because I think when you live in one place and you don't see the world or don't, especially experience in living in other places, you think that all of the cultures are quite the same. And then you understand that there is something actually deep inside in culture, in how you grow and where you grow, that influence how you behave and acting in life and where it's bringing you. And I think just in the moment I moved to London, and I think even after 2 years I understood, okay, that's different culture, different education, different in the way that people doing business and speaking.
I mean, that's so profound. Travel for me really is a form of education.
Absolutely. I think people need to do it much more.
And do you know that I think there's a statistic in America, 90% or something, 80-90% of Americans don't have a passport.
Oh, seriously?
Isn't that interesting? So I'm sure they're fabulous people, but potentially missing out on the richness, the rich tapestry of life that the world brings. How do you feel? How do you feel that your travels, your passion for traveling and your ability to transcend different cultures has influenced your design work?
Wow. So first, I'm a very dynamic person. I must be in movement all the time. I think while actually the pandemic was the most hard thing for me, after you can see a lot of people and you can see your friends and family, is you can travel. And I like to be all the time in movement, to see new places, new views, to meet new people. It's what makes me alive. And I think what it's add to you, it's the information of what you see, actually, the visual information. You're learning from it so much, and it's influenced you in every project that you are doing. You can create from your mind only. You discover it, and then it's getting knowledge, and you can perform much better.
And isn't that interesting that something you value is movement, and one of the first careers that you had, passions that you had, was as a ballerina?
Oh, correct. I didn't thought about it. Yeah.
How do you move then? What does moving mean to you? Life.
I think when you're static, I don't know, for me, I feel the time like a flower that's going down. It's what makes my blood moving and give me the spirit for life, I think.
So you certainly are a dynamic young lady.
Yeah.
Israel. So Forbes Israel 30 under 30. Hello. How? Why? Spill. Come on.
I'm not sure. So first it was a big, big honor, especially in the place that I was born and raised. And they're doing fantastic jobs, Forbes, there. And I've been nominated with a lot of amazing people. I think how I got to this position is just by a lot of hard work. I really like to work. Work for me is life. It's all blend. I don't have I know that there is a lot of people, they have the private life, friends life, work. Everything is blend. It's one vision of just create. And I think that's with a combination of, yes, luck, because I think anyone needs some luck and good opportunities that will come to them, and they say, yes, please come, I will embrace you. And then following with a lot of hard work, brought me to this position. And I'm really honored and lucky.
What was the process? How do Forbes approach you?
How Forbes approach me? Through actually our marketing team in Israel. They know me for quite a long time because they are working sometimes as well in labs in Tel Aviv. And they are relationship and doing some events over there. We got to know each other. And we spoke about it several times before, but I think it wasn't the right moment. I didn't achieve enough projects until then. And yeah, just before 30, actually.
Congratulations. So I'm curious
so
about the criteria for being on the Forbes, the Israel Forbes 30 under 30. What I hear from you is that, my words, you enjoy your work. Workaholic?
Yes, you can say that, absolutely.
We love work.
I'm a generation of alcoholic.
Not alcoholics, workaholics.
Workaholic, sorry.
Yes. Workaholic. So we're a workaholic, very determined, disciplined. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What other personality traits do you have that are setting you apart and allowing you to be part of this prestigious list?
I don't know if it's the same, but it's, yes, passion for what you do. You need to like in order to be a workaholic, you need to like really what you do and to be proud of that. And I think that's the reason why I succeed to continue to work all the time, just because I'm enjoying it. It's what makes me be happy to come in the morning when I don't feel that I'm creating enough in work. I'm just trying to find where I can do some more
And how have you learnt to be a team player?
I'm still learning. I think it's something that it takes time. No one, in a way, teach you how really to lead, how to be a boss,
Do you
how to
lead
work as a team.
Do you lead by example? Do you lead by so there's a school of thought. There's two types of leaders. You either show and tell, or you inspire and encourage.
I want to believe that I will be able to be the inspires and encourage, because I think that each one of us want to be independent, and each one of us want to create his stuff in the end of the day. And to have this responsibility that he can be proud on them. There is a lot of things between work and proud. You must be proud of your work in order to be successful. So that's what I'm encourage each one of my team, and learning actually how to encourage, because it is well individual. Each one is different, how you can promote people for successful.
Love that. I love that. I'm wondering about your age and how that translates in the industry. If I make the assumption that you might be perceived as being young and successful, if that were true, how are older people that you're working around? How do they find working with you and alongside you?
Hard question. I can't speak instead of them. But I really hope that they learn to appreciate what I'm doing. I think in the beginning they was quite surprised, who is this? And they came much more younger than what I am now, and much more with passion even. And I think they got surprised of like, okay, who are you, the character that's standing in front of us? And then they got to learn me and got to understand from where it's the drive, from where it's coming from. And we got really to work good along each other. And I'm learning from them a lot. I like to learn from people. I think it's something that you always need to keep with yourself.
Agreed. There's always something we can learn from anybody, even if we think actually what they're doing is complete nonsense.
Exactly.
It's still a learning opportunity. Agreed. I'm interested in, there's a school of thought that the architectural industry, possibly the interiors, is a male-dominated industry. And I wondered if you believe that assumption to be true.
I think it's a shame that there is no more women in high, let's say, jobs that can lead companies. But I think it's the responsibility is on ourselves in a way. And I'm every morning trying to push my boundaries as a woman in this industry in order to influence much more for more women to push themselves to go to get high in their zone business, never mind if it's construction or something else.
Can you give some examples of how you're looking to stand out, irrespective of gender?
Just not to think about the gender, not to give it to be part of it. That you feel that you can influence like any other, that you don't have any difference from the person that's standing in front of you.
Agreed. Irrespective of gender, irrespective of age.
Yeah, not to give it any
power
or influence on that. Exactly. We are all human in the end of the day.
It's a controversial subject. I know it's, something that, many females are discussing at the moment and flying the flag for.
Yeah.
That potentially the industry is gender biased. And I just wondered if there was any impact to you. So
I'm trying not to give it to have an impact on me, because I think when I can speak as all the women in this industry in the end of the day, and just trying to do my zones and my areas, what I can do.
Stay in your lane.
Exactly.
Mind your own business. Exactly. Right, let's talk about your projects.
Okay.
So you are lead designer at Labs and Stay.
Correct. So I'm like the formal title, they call it, and I learned that in London, people like titles. Is a head of design of LabTech. That LabTech is like the mothership of Labs Stay, but as well markets. So we have, for example, Camden Market in Camden, that we are doing heavily renovation over there, and much more.
Are you involved in that?
Yeah,
Congratulations. Tell me about that project. That sounds exciting.
It's exciting because it's a very interesting area that has so much history and different histories by different areas. And in one hand, you want to push for the future of Camden. What is the future of the market? And to bring it back to, bring some tech, bring new fresh feel. But on the other end, how you can keep this kind of a market feel and nature to it and not to lose it, not to lose the punk, not to lose the horse's history, and not to lose the different music and the artisan, etc. But yes, to clean it in the other end.
So can you share any of the ideas that you've got, any of the concepts? Is it still very much under wraps?
So it's under wraps, but yes, we are first just literally clean it. It's funny to say, but from 5 years ago that I came to the market, the first thing that we began is just to take out all of the layers and layers that just covered the beautiful historic buildings. So that was first, in order to see what actually you have, such a fantastic nature and texture of building that connect to each other. And then we're trying to bring a very, very interesting content and not just to approach for tourists, because I think Camden Market, not just known about the punk, but known about a very touristic place. I think there is no Israeli person that's not coming to London and not going to Camden Market.
It's a famous landmark area, isn't it?
Absolutely. But on the other end, to approach the local people, the local community, to try and understand what they need. If it's farmers market, good groceries from all over the world, good restaurants, to give them a good content that there is a reason for them to come and visit as well. And we are looking as well for some entertainment, as the world going to an interesting position. There's not much place for shops and retails. So it's all about food and content right now. So what is the content that will be interesting to them?
Lovely. So very consumer focused. First of all, identifying how does the consumer use the area? What's the historical connotations associated with the area? Upholding those.
Correct.
And then creating something new by taking away any of the old mess. Have you found any fabulous buildings that you were unaware of?
Amazing ones.
For example?
It's so different. The first time I came to Camden Market, I remember myself in, I think 15 years old, and just saw thousands of T-shirts. I didn't saw any buildings. I don't remember, as a very visual person, I don't remember any actually buildings or architecture. I just remember one big mess of like T-shirts everywhere. And I bought, of course, some vintage furs, etc., and some nice bags. But that's it. That's what I remember. And when I came to work in this place and just got to know it, I discovered that it's have much more. It have such an amazing historic landmark that people don't see, and you can experience with when you have so many market sellers, let's say.
When you're involved in a regeneration program, such as Camden, what are your resources? What do you tap into for inspiration, for direction, for guidance?
Very interesting, as I think when you have such a unique landmark, you can't really looking for so many inspiration around, because it's like one of a kind. So I think first is to learn as much as possible from the heritage consultant, and we have a wonderful heritage director in our company that just explained me about the market and how it's involved. To get to know from a lot of surveys that we are doing from local and the surround, for marketing, they're doing like a rebranding, so how they see it, from the council of what their perspective about when they are looking about Camden Market. And of course, about different renovations that have been done for markets all over the world.
So exciting project. And you're also involved in Stay.
Correct.
So Stay is the serviced accommodation.
Apartment. Yes.
Tell me about that.
So I actually live in Stay. I'm laughing on myself that I live inside of myself. I have labs under, like in the first floor. I lived in Stay in the third floor. It's literally ecosystem, like I think the vision of our owner company. And Stay came to be a very successful actually product that is very first honored and exciting for us. And very interesting to see it, how without so much branding and let's say a marketing, it's just, I think the product just working well because that's what people need these days.
How have you been involved in it, apart from living in the accommodation and benefiting in that way?
I did the renovation of the apartment, so all the fit out inside, the FF&E, furniture, art, and decoration.
Where do you take your inspiration for design from?
I like these questions because I think you can inspire from everywhere. People ask me in interviews, like, what is your favorite architect or favorite designers or from who you're taking the inspiration? I think inspiration you can take from everywhere. Everyone, it's even if it is not just to get to a coffee place and it's inspiring you and you have no idea who is a designer. And as well, inspiration is what not to do. I've been in a place, it's not working for me. Why I feel that I'm not at home, why I feel that it's not working.
So tell me about kind of trends. Like when you were designing Stay, you took inspiration from everywhere, I'm hearing. But tell me about the trends that you set upon.
So I think in LabTech, our design approach of the team that came is very natural and timeless design. We are not trying not to stick to trends. We are very healthy in our palettes that are very natural, very calm and relaxful. And we're trying to do something that is, I said timeless before, it's just working for everyone. Never mind where are you coming from. You can relate, you can feel at home, you can feel relaxed. That's our aim, even if we are doing labs or Stay or any other.
And you have a very timeless elegance about you.
Yeah, okay. That's
good. I did my research and I've watched you on different interviews and I'm seeing you now in person and you have like an ethereal beauty about you, just like a timeless elegance. And I just wonder how conscious that is. You know, you're dressed in black today. What's the thinking behind that?
I'm trying less and less to wear black. I'm always wearing black, I think, for the last 10 years.
I love black.
Yeah, you're addicted to that.
I just love it. If I think for me, this ridiculous outfit I've got on today. For me, black is just like a perfect kind of palette.
Yeah.
Because for me, everything I didn't want, my clothes are just functional. And the spirit of the human is just that, the energy of the person just talks.
I think I like my house white and my clothes black.
Is that?
But I'm wearing jeans today, what I'm not doing a lot, and I'm trying to promote myself actually to encourage myself to do it more. I think black is convenient. It's just simple, it's clean, it's always working, never mind what you combine, you don't need to think. In a way, I admire people that like wearing colorful colors because I think colors is very hard. By the way, in interior, in design, in everywhere, like to combine colors, it's much more challenge than just to wear black.
Agreed. Pick your battles. You have experience in designing apartments, in designing serviced offices, and now in designing ecosystems within towns.
Correct.
For architects, for interior designers watching this who are looking to, let's start with apartments. Any tips for anybody looking to design an apartment?
Try to understand what is his advantage, what is his values, what is the unique thing in the apartment that can make it look wonderful. Take out all of what you see. You need a lot of imagination when you are looking for an asset. You need to understand.
Oh, that's interesting. You need a lot of imagination when you're looking for an asset.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure when you renovate your apartment, you see different, I don't know if you're speaking about someone that's buying it or having it, but you need to try to remove everything that you see in front of you, correct? Bring it to the shell of it, to the structure, and then understand what is the good thing in it. If it's a windows, if it's a very romantic and amazing fireplace that there is a lot of beautiful apartment, is it the ceiling or decoration, the height? What makes it unique and feel different from the rest?
I like that. So strip back all the stuff that doesn't serve any purpose anymore, and identify what is the asset.
And I think this is our advantage as a designer and architect. We can see in our mind what actually this property can get to. What is the added value that we can add to it?
Mm-hmm. Okay, now let's go to serviced offices.
Yeah. I would say as well, by the way, don't do a lot. Don't do much. I think I really believe in less is more. I think that's the difference a little bit between maybe more focus on interior than architecture. You don't need to put a lot of layers of decoration and a lot of things. Actually, sometimes to keep the place as bare as possible and to pick the places that you want to add, that's what will make it looks different and fabulous.
Give an example. So obviously, we could use your apartments that you've refurbished as an example, but give another example that people might recognise as an area that is quite simple in terms of interiors, but something that you highly regard.
I think in our renovation, the last renovation we did in Labs, that is Victoria House, that's what we tried to do actually, is to bring back the grandeur of the building.
The grandeur.
Yeah, because it's such a magnificent building from the 1920. And I think we just try to emphasize is texture and the surfaces in it that was always there, but just by strip out as much as possible and put the lounges and the soft furnishing in the right place that will actually go in a good relationship with the heritage elements, that makes the space feel very comfy.
One of my greatest examples of simplicity is the British Library.
Absolutely.
Ugh. Just functional books. It's a place to sit. Boom.
Functional is beautiful, by the way. Absolutely. I agree. No need more than that.
Does what it says on the tin. Beautifully.
And that's give you a lot of creativity, by the way. When you have much more clean in your head and in your view, you have a clean head as well to create.
Oh, that's interesting. So if I was to come into your office and look at your desk space, what would I be looking at?
I don't have a desk. That's part of me, like moving all the time. I need to walk all the time from different positions, different places. And by the way, I can walk everywhere. Like everyone surprised for me that I can walk in a building site when people are drilling inside of my head. Like actually when it's too quiet, I can't create. I like the buzziness, the environment. If it's a coffee place, if it's a bus, I can just walk literally everywhere.
So no desk, laptop, phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, moving, fluid.
You need just laptop with you and you can walk from everywhere.
Okay, so let's go back to that question again and let's talk about serviced offices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what would be your advice for an architect designer that's looking to recreate that space? What's your starting point?
First, if it's an architect or designer, ask the client what he wants. It's so important to listen to the client and first see him. I think as a designers, we always want to put our vision inside of the product. But in order to do that, and I really believe that we need to do it because that's what makes us to continue to want to create and to educate and to learn, you first need to speak with the client and really understand what he wants. And most of the time, he will not know to say what he wants. So you need to know as well to guideline, to like ask the right questions of where you feel comfortable, or where you feel that you have been in an offices that you like, what you like over there. So first to get this piece of information, to know to translate it, and then to add your layer to it, of what you want to say in the new office that you create, which kind of atmosphere, how you want people to use the space. I'm always saying, understand how you want the human being actually to use in your space, and that's the way that you need to design.
There's a school of thought that design is subjective. Yeah. So, it's the majority, unless you're talking, biophilia, the majority of design is not science-based. Yeah. It's whether somebody likes it or not. Potentially. How do you cope with criticism, self-doubt?
I really, really like this question. I think that's what is the most hard actually in what we are doing is everyone can criticize it. And it's very easy to criticize it because you see it. You don't need to understand. I can criticize numbers. Our CFO, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know I can see in front of me the numbers in a way. But anyone that gets inside to the space can criticize it. And I think it's fascinating. Because in the beginning I was like, everyone can say whatever they want. Each one have different opinion. You can never win in a way. But I think criticize, it's good in the end of the day. It's interesting to hear how each person experiences a space and to understand that you can't win it all. Everyone will say something. And it's part of the deal. It's part of us being the designers. And some people will like it, some people will not like it. But that's the big success in the end of the day. How many people have you succeeded to touch?
Yeah. So I know you love work.
Yes.
And we've called you a workaholic.
Yeah.
What do you do in your downtime? How do you relax?
I think two main things. I like yoga, but I don't do it much. So I'm telling to myself in here that maybe I will hear it afterwards as well and say, I need to do it much more. But that's my peaceful moments. And as well, I just like to walk around. Literally, to just stroll in London or a new city and to discover new things. And thank God it's London and you have so many things to see, like so many neighborhoods. So sometimes I'm just literally picking like a random station and just saying, okay, I will go to there. I've never been in this neighborhood. Let's see what is going on. And you will always discover like a beautiful wine shop and a nice coffee place to be.
Yara, you're a winner at last year's Designer Awards. How did that feel?
Wow, really, really exciting. It was, I couldn't believe it. I think after even I took with me this very heavy D home, I think the only thing was said to me that not all my team have been with me next to me that done this amazing building. I couldn't never do it alone, and you never do something actually just by yourself. So I think, yeah, it was amazing.
Final thoughts for anybody watching this that thinks, I want to be like Yara. I'm young, I'm dynamic, I'm driven, I'm good at what I do.
Just do it. Oh my God, it's Nike. But yes, I agree. Just do it. Just believe in it. And don't afraid to show it to the world. Don't say no for good opportunities that come to your door. Don't afraid to fail. I think a lot of people afraid to fail in what they are doing, and that prevents them to do something.
Stops them doing it.
I never thought about it. Okay, so I will fail. So what? Don't think about it, that it will not be a factor in your life. And then you will succeed.
So come from a place of yes.
Exactly.
And then figure out how to do it.
Exactly.
You are an inspiration.
And if you will do mistakes, it's fine. That's part of life. You learn from it.
We're human, exactly. Messy.
Mm-hmm.
Loved meeting you. Yara, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Keep smashing life and enjoying your travel. Who knows where next? If you've enjoyed today's chat, do like and subscribe. We'll be here every Monday morning for more exciting design and architect chats. See you then.